That's a great idea. Okay. So I'm recording it. So I'm recording it. So he will have it later. Maybe bringing me out of. Uh, can you hear anything, Borja? Still no? There, it should work then. There we go. Borja, you still can't hear us, right?
I can.
Awesome.
I can, yeah.
So the thing with AI is that it's, again, so many people are talking about it. It was huge at CES, but it's also super confusing, like what it is and what it's not. Agency, it doesn't matter if you're agency, brand, creator network, doesn't matter. Everybody's talking about it. There's many, many uses of it, many use cases of it. I thought a AI webinar with 3 very unique companies and perspectives that are non-competitive, that are really showcasing how AI is being used, like Carissa, at retail with Dragonfruit AI, right? How a retailer is actually utilizing AI to grab the video that's in their stores and analyze a customer journey and be able to affect that customer journey over time, right? Sell more product, make sure the product's on the floor, loss prevention, in-store traffic, all of AI is utilizing with Dragonfruit. And then, obviously Borja on the programmatic buying side, like this makes a ton of sense that it would be way better, meeting the KPIs way better by using AI to affect programmatic buying. That's like drop in it makes tons of sense. Rez on the other side of at the beginning, finding out what customers really want, who their personalities are, and then being able to drive that data to Google, to Meta, to wherever, or ingest data from a brand, and then spin that out to programmatic. Again, makes tons of sense and makes everything more efficient, higher ROI and ROAS, right? So the thought of this is an hour-long seminar in March. I will create all the kind of creative look and feel, right? The blast, I'll send you guys all of that stuff. Because I do, each one of you will have your own email blast that I will do, plus posting, then you guys can repost it. It's free. We will get at least 100 people that will come on. They will give their emails to it. So we'll have an email database that everybody will get as well. And then I'll make cut downs of it. Like I've done before, I'll make cut downs of it, of all the individual people speaking and talking, and the Q&A back and forth. So I'll moderate it on the back end and have going on the webinar. And then, but do cut downs for everybody. So I can send you the cut downs and you can utilize them again. Like, look, we were just in a webinar, we were talking about X, Y, and Z, and someone from MediaVast asked a question, or publicist asked a question. This is how we answered it. Like, you can utilize that content too. We found that the webinar on live shopping did really well, and it definitely elevated the thought leadership across the board.
Cynthia, I think AI is even more top of mind because, right? Sure. And I was recently on a panel discussion at a summit for a private equity firm, and it was very similar to this. It was AI research, but it was really looking at like how marketers need to understand these components. Like AI is a big word. What the fuck does that mean? Yes. And it went into like, how is AI transforming research methodologies? How is it, what's the customer experience when AI is integrated into retail? Overall, just from like digital marketing, especially with consumers that live on digital, which are millennial, younger, and Gen Zs, like what is personalization, what's working, what's not working, what's driving engagement. And so I think if it's, and I wrote some of the things down, I have the questions I can share with you, but I think that it's very top of mind, including the risks, like what are things that people should be on the lookout for with privacy, and how is that data protection and marketing. I think it's very topical. And when I saw it in action, I was like, oh my God, who better to do this than you and this group? Because I think that more people than we even think will either tune in or watch later.
I think so too. And, the two announcements we saw last week with, or the week before, maybe, one from Publicis and one from WPP, right? Both of them spending over $300 million in AI in 2024.
Right.
Like,
and it is not enough. It's like,
no, it's
it's
just
just
scratching the surface.
Yep.
Scratching the surface. So we also assume those people are going to dial into this. We have a huge group, obviously, from Publicis we did before, about 100 people. We have all of their data too. So their data, obviously data people and marketing people, and they're going to want to come to this. And they've been to one before, so they understand they're going to get real value out of it. So I just think it's topical. It's great thought leadership for everybody that's here. You guys are non-competitive, but you do amazing things. And again, customers don't know what AI really is or how to really use it. And they're getting bombarded by salespeople. And this is more of a, hey, we're going to tell you what it is and what it's not. And here are 3 different case study uses of how it's being utilized and why it's unique and different. And we'll set up all the questions in advance, so you guys will have all of those. So when I do the questions, you'll know. And it gets more organic as we go through the hour, but it's just again, the thought leadership side, getting the messaging across, and getting clients learning about what you guys are doing I think makes a big difference. Also, Adweek in September, they've done some stuff with AI, but frankly, not a lot. And I feel like I just talked to Jackie. Thank you again for introducing me to her. But even though she's now gone as the CEO of Adweek, she definitely said, look, I know the people that are running it. I know the people doing stuff. If you had a panel with a client, a couple different vendors on it at the same time, it could be really super interesting. And I'm like, yeah, you should let us come to this. You should let us do it for free, because frankly, we're going to be providing data that these guys are not getting in just a sales call with somebody.
Yeah.
It's actual real value for the customer. So that's the premise of it. I have kind of a write-up, a high-level write-up that I did this last week. And then I'm going to add some of the questions at the bottom of it, kind of like, here's the strategy, here's what we're trying to get out of it. I do everything on my end. So from a creative perspective, push perspective, all of that, I'll give you guys everything in advance. I'll tell you when I push each one of you personally, for also, as well as the group together. And then I do all the follow-up and everything as we lead into it. I'll host the webinar. I have a 500-seat webinar, so I can host it. And then I'll send you guys the questions in advance. And over the next couple of weeks, we can finalize the questions. And then I'll put together the schedule for promotion. And then we'll be off to the races.
I have a crazy idea, but I'll throw it out there for everyone to think about, and you can tell me no, or we can take it where it leads. Part of my brain, thinking of the 4 of us we have here, Cynthia, is could we set up a part of this to almost follow the person, like follow the customer journey all the way from knowing who is the target, Reza's world, to making the right ad buys, Borja's world, to following them into the store and knowing actually where do they go in the store, what do they buy, etc. Like, we can show the true customer journey. Whereas now, like, a lot of the things that I see out there in the AI space, back to your point, Jackie, right? They're pieces of it, right? But you'd have to like take 5 different point solutions to truly understand the customer journey, and no one player has all the pieces.
Right.
But I think if we can show how AI is actually transforming the customer journey funnel that we all know as marketers, right? In fundamental ways that aren't getting talked about, right? It's all about, hey, look, you can do creative without any creative people. It's like, okay, that's the least of what AI could do for the world.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's kind of, we can, position it as you're going to see the ecosystem in action.
Yes.
right? You're gonna see from the beginning all the way through the customer journey to buy, like we can show the ecosystem in action. And then, because it's a webinar, we can share screens, you can share demos, like all that stuff can be part of it so that you're not just talking, we're not just
Yeah.
talking heads, we're actually showcasing and we'll, coordinate, right, how we show that customer journey. I think no one's doing that. And you're right, they're showing pieces of the puzzle, but someone needs to come in and be like, okay, here's how it actually works, Publicis, MediaVest, MediaCom, like here's how it works. And these are 3 players that are actually really key to making it work for your platforms. So that's kind of the premise of it and how we've been thinking about it. Carissa, you did have somebody on your panel at NFR from Google.
Bruce Bay. Yeah.
Does it make sense for him to be on something like
Oh,
this?
he'd love that. I think he would love it. We could definitely include him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can ask
I
him.
mean, they just launched their, what is it, Genesis Pro? I
Yeah.
mean, it just
Yeah.
came out.
Gemini,
today.
yeah.
Yeah, Gemini. So I think it's very timely, and that would be another eyeball draw.
Yeah, that would be an eyeball drop with Google for sure. And he's a good guy and he gets the space and he'll be great on, great answering questions and stuff too. And then Jackie, let me ask you, I mean, you're on the Gen Z consumer side too. Like what, coming to this, you're seeing AI being utilized to reach consumers, and especially this Gen Z multicultural consumer. I think that's a very unique spin as well.
So looking at what are future trends and customer behavior, being able to predict more about customers and understand more and how that's being used, and going back also to the being careful about the privacy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we will get, like I said, I mean, we had 100 just with me, like pushing it out there. So, and I mean, all of you guys, right, that we're on it, we're obviously promoting it too, but it got great traction. And there was definitely really good interest on it. And I think.
And I also think the other angle I thought about too, Cynthia, is, and again, Reza and Borja and Jackie jump in. Another potential angle is there's so much buzz about Gen AI. Is if Gen AI is the entire universe of AI, and obviously it isn't. The 3 of us attest to that. Right. So there may be an opposite one to say, the AI that you've never heard of or what have you, right? Because it's actually where the meat is.
Yeah.
But people, the headlines are so saturated with Gen AI. So again, another potential angle to make it all hang together of why these people.
Yeah, again, there's so much confusion. People think ChatGPT is like, oh yeah, that's AI. And I'm like, okay, that's like a very.
Yes.
And by the way, they put $1 billion into that and they still are scratching the surface of that, right? And this is to unlock, customers and dollars, right? At our customers to actually engage with us and buy our products and services and, engage with us and become clients, right? That's the whole gist of this. Thought leadership, which I think is really key for everybody that's on this call, is the thought leadership side and establishing it. And the other side is, making sure that the product is known, it's out there, and people have seen what it actually can do. But I love the customer journey side. I think, it's kind of like it ain't your mama's ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like what it is, what it's not.
Yeah, and the other thing is kind of like AI is a big word, but people, you need to talk about the machine learning factor. How do you are able to do the targeting through the neuronal connections that we have. Like a little bit of on the basics of AI and why later on AI can help to expedite processes, to accelerate the strategies and stuff like that. Most of the people, to your point, Carissa, they're talking about generative AI, and then the second thing is, they're gonna take everybody's jobs, and everybody's associating all the layoffs because of AI right now. It's like companies, they are not firing people by the thousands because of AI. They're firing them because they're trying, so that's another thing that I would like to not to spend a lot of time, but to make sure that people understand that, because one of the biggest things that I am fighting every time that I'm visiting an agency is to explain them that I'm not there just for them to start firing all the traders that they have in the programmatic, desk. So it's a little bit of, which it will be very beneficial, is to know ahead of time, what is the type of an audience. If it's 100 people, how many of those they are coming from the client side, from the, what type of an audience are we talking to, so we can, fine tuning, the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be agency people and brands. This is what we went after before. I mean, my database is about 2,000, and they're all agencies and brands, everything, L'Oreal, Estee Lauder, you name it, we have it, but the more the merrier. And I encourage you guys, because I'll give you the creatives, right, to push it out to people that you're like, hey, I know I visited you 2 weeks ago, but there's this free webinar that we're having that you're going to even learn more and get deeper and real, like, kind of case study of a customer journey side. I think we're going after agencies and brands. That's kind of where we're all sitting here today. Obviously, Chris is more on the retailer side, right? Borja, you're on more on that kind of the agency side. We're on, Benj is on agency and brand side, but we're not going for anything outside of that. Like,
yep,
that's where we're sticking. And it's the top, it's the top brands also that are frankly paying the freight and advertising. Retail, financial service, like, I'm gonna reach out to some friends in the financial services side because they spend a ton in advertising. Like, who's spending those big 4 or 5 categories? Those are also people in there. They're gonna, utilize AI, and or they're a client of Publicis or MediaVest or WPP or Dentsu, so on and so forth. So that's kind of all I have for today. I mean, we're
So
here.
I'm all in. I have a hard stop at 2 because I have another meeting already, but I'm all in and look forward to working with you guys on this. Borja, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you, Jackie. Talk soon.
Thanks, Krista.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's all I've got for now. I'll start working on, like, I've got like this kind of the very like high level overview, right? I'll put in some like the objectives, but please, it's gonna be a Google Doc, so add more objectives to it. I'll start adding questions to the bottom of it, and we have a working document. And then once we're done with that, I'll just set it up in the calendar side. So I'm thinking like mid-March it gives us enough time.
Yeah, that would be that. I was gonna ask that. Like, the sooner than we confirm the day, the better, because March is a busy month for me, at least. I have to do a couple of trips to Europe.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I'm not in a plane, when this happens.
Yeah, all you need to do is tell me what days you're not available, and then we'll work around that. I'm saying from a promotional standpoint, like, to get as much like action and traction. Yeah, we want to nail this in the next week so that we can start moving on it. So like I'm saying, like, I'm thinking mid-March. It gives us like a month. Like, once we're finalized, it gives us like a month, because I start doing promotions, and then of course week of 2 week before, like each one of you I promote, and then it continues to grow. So,
great.
And obviously you guys push it out to your databases too. And it's global, so anybody you're talking to anywhere can come into it. It doesn't matter.
Awesome.
We'll all be recorded. So it'll be recorded and posted. You guys will have the full link. And again, I'll chop it into pieces as well afterwards. So we'll have shorts for everybody. An hour, we'll probably have like 20 shorts. So you'll have tons of other content to utilize. You could even put into a sales, like, hey, we just did this. Oh, you asked that question. Here's how I explained it. And I was talking to this web,
You do such a great job, Cynthia. Seriously, you really do. So I think, Borja, you haven't been on one of these, but you get gold for doing it from Cynthia. and Cynthia, I'll get you those questions, and I'm happy to work with you on the questions too.
Yeah, that would be super helpful,
Mhm.
Jackie. Seriously, that would be really helpful. Between you and Crystal, like, honing in and making sure, right, that we're doing it the right way. Because as the moderator, my job is 100% to make you guys shine and showcase exactly what you do, so that we're always the smartest people in the room.
I think it's also it's like, I think like Carissa's panel was getting through the bullshit, right? But I think it's really, how do you make it applicable?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much talk about this, and then how do you make research applicable, targeting, program, like, how do you make it all matter? Because I think people are overwhelmed.
Yeah,
and they are taking little 101 classes on Google, but this is like a hands-on.
Yeah. And again, at the agency side, they're doing the same thing. They're all trying to figure it out. No,
So
they're
the
no
more
one
ahead
is-
the curve and giving them some nuggets, the better off, right?
exactly. We give them takeaways where they're like, oh yeah, I learned that I've got to call BoardHot's company. And we'll have all your name tags and, you know, I distribute all that stuff as well to them so they know how to get a hold of everybody. You know, if they want to talk more, I collect all that data and give it to you guys. So, you know, you have it to go after like actual prospects, because that's what this is about. Thought leadership and making money, selling what we're selling, right?
Amazing.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I will be back to you, since I'm just moving in tomorrow. It'll be early next week, but like, I'm on it. I love doing these.
All
It's
right.
super fun.
All right. Great seeing
Bye, guys.
you guys.
Take care.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you, Vanessa.
Bye, guys.